Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Bat Around. I'm your host, Paul Valley, and joining me in just a matter of moments will be from Pigtown Sports, Zack Moore. He was calming his dog down, but he will be joining us here momentarily. In the meantime, today's show is brought to you by Classic 5 Golf. Do you want to improve your golf game or learn to play for the first time? The Baltimore Golf Academy has fun instructional programs for the beginner golfer to everyday players. The Baltimore Golf Academy can take your game to the next level, so enroll today at baltimoregolfacademy.com. Orioles, they go out to Minnesota and they get swept. The Bats stayed in Baltimore. Honestly, it feels like the Bats stayed in Sarasota since about the second week of the season. The Orioles have not been hitting the ball very well. But then they go out to L.A., and Tomoyuki Sugano gives them 7 1/3 innings of one-run ball on Friday night. They win that ball game 4-1. And then today they get a solid return outing from Zack Eflin, who goes 5 innings, allowing 2 earned runs on 5 hits, and they take 2 of 3 from the struggling LA Angels. Orioles get back to their winning ways, and then they come home to take on the Minnesota Twins here in Baltimore for hopefully what will be a revenge series. But again, Zack Eflin in that start today, coming back his first start since April after going on the IL with a little bit of a lat strain. 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. Gunnar Henderson, 2 for 5, a home run, a double, and 2 RBI. Adley Rutschman, 2 for 4 with a triple, a gift triple on the ball that got lost in the sun. He also had an RBI. Brian Mountcastle, his third multi-hit game in his last 10 games. He went 2 for 4. Cedric Mullins, nice to see him get a couple of hits today, 2 for 4 with 2 runs. And Maverick Hanley did not have a hit, but he did drive in 2 runs in today's ball game to help the Orioles to a 7-3 victory to clinch the series victory over the Angels out there in Anaheim. So yeah, it was a nice trip to LA. The road trip was salvaged, I guess. They went 2-4 on a 6-game road trip. Man, that series out there in Minnesota was just a debacle. And here's Zack joining us now. Zack, good evening. How are you?
Dude, my Chrome was jacked. I just literally had to reset everything and log all back in.
Yeah, it said that somebody by the name of Fred joined the stream. I
I
don't know
was
what.
trying to just type anything and nothing was doing anything, and it was fun. My Twitter wouldn't even load or nothing.
Oh wow. Well, welcome in. Just talking about how the Orioles they went to Minnesota, got swept in Minnesota. Just a terrible series out there, and then they come. They go out to LA. They win the first game behind Sugar Sagano, giving you 7 1/3 innings of one-run ball. And honestly, he left the ball game. I think it was 93 pitches he was at when he left the ball game. He probably could have finished that 8th inning. Brandon Hyde went out there and got him after a 2-pitch first out of the 8th inning. So the Orioles won that game. You know, Kyle Gibson still having a hard time getting things going at the big league level here after a really shortened. He didn't have a spring training, and then he basically his spring training was 3 minor league starts, and he just hasn't rounded into form just yet. But then Eflin comes off the IL today, gives the Orioles 5 solid innings, 2 earned runs allowed, and his ERA went up to 3.13. But the Orioles managed to put 7 runs on the board today. Bunch of guys with multi-hit efforts. Gunnar, Adley Rutschman, Ryan Mountcastle, Cedric Mullins all had two hits, a couple of RBIs. Maverick Hanley, 2 RBIs despite no hits. What did you see anything from that series in LA that kind of gives you confidence moving forward?
I mean, Holiday looked good. Gunner's looking good. I mean, certain guys are looking good. Rivera's looking good. I haven't seen anything wrong with Hanley yet. I kind of like him over Gary.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to call a pretty decent game. He can bunt and he's got some RBIs, which is more than most of their half our roster right now.
Mm-hmm.
I like the guy. I mean, keep him around. I mean, look, this team has plenty of things to build on. They just have to eventually nut up and do it. You know,
Yeah.
they can't keep making these excuses. Will you stop biting my chair? Sorry, this dog is going nuts right now.
Well, I'm surrounded by cats right now. We've got 2 cats, and one's nuzzling her head up against my shin. The other one's just kind of eating a suitcase next to me. So,
Yeah.
same boat. But Yeah, Maverick Hanley, I was thinking the same thing. He's not going to get a ton of base hits, but he drove in 2 runs today without getting a base hit.
Right.
Played a little bit of small ball and helped the Orioles to a victory that they sorely needed. They needed to win 2 or 3 against LA after that shit show, for lack of a better term, out there in Minnesota. They needed to do something to salvage that trip. 2-4, not a great trip by any stretch of the imagination, especially against 2 teams that are sub 500. But you come home on the right note. You're getting momentum. Now you get that revenge series against the Twins, and you're going to have who's going to pitch in this series? It's going to be Sugano. It's going to be Povich, and then do you get Kramer in Game 3?
I think so. Yeah, they posted it, and I don't remember it.
Yeah, I can't remember either, but I would imagine that it would be Kramer in Game 3, since it was Gibson yesterday and Eflin today. You look at the Orioles rotation now. It's going to be Eflin, Sugano, Kramer, Povich as your top 4. Is that going to instill more confidence in you? And we do know that it's the downfall of the Orioles this year. It started out being their pitching, but they haven't really been able to put the bat on the ball either.
Yeah. I mean, does it give me a little bit more confidence? Yeah. I mean, but still, it's like, okay, you're getting a decent chance to win 2 nights of the week, but I mean, after that, it's literally a coin toss for Kramer, and then it's a guaranteed no for Gibson and Morton. You and I talked about it. I didn't see anything that Gibson provided this team. Cool, he's a rah-rah clubhouse guy, but I mean, that only goes so far. I mean, these guys are in year 3. If you still need a rah-rah Gibson guy who's 38 years old, 37 years old, whatever he is, you've got bigger problems than just everything else. I'm getting a little tired of the excuses, to be completely honest with you. Oh, these guys are still, we got to remind them that, that they don't have to worry about last year or last at bat, and we got to take one at bat at a time. I'm sorry, dude. This is year 3. And if you were still reminding these guys this, that's a problem, and fix it. They're either a baby and they're soft, and you got to fix that, or they're not. And I don't know what the hell you're talking about in your interviews, and you're just dividing a wedge in the clubhouse here. Like, figure it out, or get some better media training on what you're doing in your post games, because it ain't working across the board. And I'm getting a little, as you can tell, I'm getting a little frustrated about hearing about it. Like, I don't think these guys are soft, but you're making them look out to be just mentally soft sissies.
Yeah, it's and Brendan Hyde. It's funny, after the Orioles win, I don't listen to his post game press conference, because I mean, what's he gonna say? That's gonna, like, you already know what he's gonna say. Happy to get this one. We played well. We swung the bats better. Like, what he's gonna say. And also, I don't want to see a guy get excited because the Orioles won a game, 2-1 or 3-1 or 4-1, where they still went 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position, and be like, this one feels good. It was a great game that we played. Well, no, you went 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position. So miss me with that. The games that they lose, I want to see, I listen, and it's not because I want to see what excuse he has this time. I listen because at some point, somebody's got to be held accountable for how this season has gone. It's completely off the rails.
Did you hear Paul Skeen say it?
No, what did he say?
They asked him. They said, well, how do you feel about your manager being fired? I think it was named Derek Shelton or something. And he said, dude, we're 2-26. Like, somebody's got to be held accountable. Sucks that it's him, but, somebody has to be held accountable. I wish somebody would come out and say it around here. Like, everybody's like so media trained. Like, just, you want leaders, be a damn leader. Like, if there's an issue, come out and say it. Like, people are going to respect you more for it. Your manager might not, but if there is an issue somewhere or something in that clubhouse, obviously there is. If you have to rely on Kyle Gibson, I mean, let's be honest. And you made the comments that, oh, we need an adult in the room. I mean, something's going on at that point, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm so over it. Like, they're just trying to recreate 2023. If you're trying to recreate 2023, rehire Freddie Gonzalez. You're that far away. Like, what are you trying to recreate here? Like, fix what's in the box before you try to recreate 2023.
Yeah, and then you have Michael Elias giving Brandon Hyde a vote of confidence, and Brandon Hyde saying, it's nice to know that he was, we took our lumps, and he was patient with me when we were losing, and now that we're winning, he's giving me the benefit of the doubt. And I'm paraphrasing here, but it's like, what do you
Benefit of the
expect?
doubt. That says everything right there. Benefit of the doubt.
And again, I said I'm paraphrasing because that was
No, he
the
said that.
gist of. Oh, did he say benefit of the
Yeah.
doubt?
Mhm.
Okay, I that was the gist of it, but I wasn't sure that he actually said that. I will say, Mike Elias went on the Big Bad Morning Show on 105.7 The Fan on Tuesday morning, and they didn't pull their punches. They asked every question that we could want them to ask, and the answers that he gave, I thought were direct. I thought they were to the point. I thought they were the most that he could say, given his current position. I had, I is that the new dog?
Yeah, he's going nuts tonight.
That was that bark in the background was just too funny. But yeah, I actually was really, I thought it was one of the better segments they've ever had on the Big Bad Morning Show, and I was actually really pleased with the interview because Mike Elias acknowledged that he made some wrong turns in the off season, and that these players aren't living up to their potential. None of these guys have performed to the way they expect them to. The pitching hasn't been good. He didn't say anything to sugarcoat anything. He did, and at first Ed Norris asked about his feelings on Brendan Hyde as a manager, and I was like, what the hell do you expect him to say? That's a stupid question, but
Right.
they got to ask it. They got to
Yeah.
ask it, and he gives them the vote of confidence. Did you get to listen to that interview?
Bits and pieces of it. Whatever was like chopped and put on Twitter.
hmm I I did like the interview, but I'm getting really, really tired of the questions from the media asking Brandon Hyde, how does he feel knowing he got a vote of confidence? Asking Mike Elias, is Brandon Hyde doing a good job as manager? Because what do you expect these guys to say? Even if there's turmoil, even if it's all crap behind the scenes, and that clubhouse is out of whack, and that the manager and the GM are at each other's throats, we're never going to know about it until after
Right.
the fact. And we talked about this on the show last week. I don't want to hear the questions anymore. Just start playing better baseball. Start
Exactly.
winning ball games. And look, their two best starters went this weekend. They won those two games. Had an opportunity to win the game last night, but wheels kind of came off there in the fifth inning for Gibson. Hopefully they can get right and play a good series against the Twins. But
Did you see the
uh,
Twins are actually 14-5 over their last 19 games?
yeah, they've been remarkably hot,
Yeah.
and it's funny. Jacob Calvin Meyer posted the other day that the combined winning percentage of the teams that the Orioles faced in April was something like 523, something like that. And then
Yeah.
he was like, "But is it maybe they are all winning because they all got to play the Orioles?"
Yeah.
And it's a fair point. Like, even if it is said tongue in cheek, it's a fair point that all these teams, they all got like 3 gimmies when they play the Orioles in April. I'm just looking for anything to give us confidence moving forward, for the rest of this month and the rest of this season. If the Orioles start playing better, Brandon Hyde's not going anywhere. If they play the same, Brandon Hyde might not be going anywhere. So they might as well win ball games,
Right.
while they're at it. Today's game. What did you see from today's game? Did you get a chance to watch?
Not a whole lot of it. I mean, it was a pretty busy day.
Mm-hmm.
I seen bits and pieces of it, and then I seen Adley's triple, if you want to call it that. I
Yeah.
don't know. Cool. I mean, it made up for him hitting 2 balls on the screws and getting outs.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Baseball has a way of doing that sometimes. Um, but I mean, it looked like some guys that were in key spots finally delivered. I mean, Ryan Mountcastle had a big hit. Gunnar did what he was supposed to do, and I mean, the bottom of the lineup seemed to turn things over again. Look, Cedric Mullins was on for one of Gunnar's home runs, and those are things that you want to see, especially against a soft toss and lefty. I was more happy, and I still don't understand this. If you enjoy Holiday as your leadoff hitter, and he comes in, he gets what, 2 hits or something like that. I don't
Yeah.
care for facing a lefty. Like, you're still
Mm-hmm.
putting a lefty leading off. Why can't it be Jackson Holiday? Just leave the shit alone. I don't
Right.
understand it. Like, I understand because you haven't decided to play him for the last month and a half against lefties. Whatever. Like, just set something and leave it alone. You don't have to keep moving guys in and out. Let them get comfortable with each other where they're hitting and whatnot. Thankfully, he was in the lineup over Mateo. I didn't have to come on here and complain about that tonight.
If
But
Mateo had started 2 games in a row, there may have been rioters in the streets.
yeah,
I said last night, Mateo came up in, what was it, the 8th or the 9th inning, and I tweeted out, if Jorge Mateo walked up to the plate with his bat tied to his shoulder so he physically couldn't swing, he would have a higher on-base percentage than he actually has right now.
yeah.
And then somebody sent me, there's a player in college or in the minors somewhere who has 8 at-bats and he has not swung at one pitch and he's got 4 walks this season. Like, man, I saw, and it's funny because they had Gunnar DHing, they had Mateo playing yesterday, and what was the point of Mateo playing yesterday? It was a righty that they were facing. Like, why does he have? Why does he have to get in the ball game? I mean, a stale chip is stale whether you eat it today or you eat it a week from now. Like, I don't.
If
I
you
don't know
came out and said, "Look, we are trying to move Jorge Mateo, and we need to get him playing time," I don't think you would hear a single damn person complain. Just be honest about it. Don't say, "Oh, yeah, he might be getting stale." Because when you're saying, "Oh, he might be getting stale," you're acting like he's a guy that deserves playing time. He's not. He's not a guy that deserves playing time. He's a decent piece if you use him correctly, but don't force him in the lineup.
Right.
But just come out if they are trying to do this. Come out, and be honest. Say, hey, we're trying to get him some at bats. We're trying to make his value look pretty decent. We're trying to move him. Okay, 1, he respects you for probably saying that. 2, he's probably going to play a little bit harder. And 3, your entire fan base is going to respect you for finally saying it. And then we don't have to sit here and complain about it all the time.
Do you think you'd ever hear somebody say that, though, about a player on their team?
If you're going to say you're shopping Ryan Mountcastle, why can't you say it about Jorge Mateo?
Yeah, but I don't know was that leaked from the club or was that leaked from somebody who has a source within the club?
Either or.
Yeah,
I mean, somebody leak it. I don't care. Just leak it.
just leak that. But I mean, what are you gonna get for Jorge Mateo? Like, who's giving you anything of
Give me
value?
a double-A arm. I don't care.
Yeah, give me a couple of ballpark wieners, and I'm good. But which also reminds me, you've got Emmanuel Rivera on the roster, and I think today was his first game. I think he snapped a 6-game hitting streak today.
That dude's a hitter.
Yeah,
just a flat-out hitter.
Today he went 0 for 3. He did walk and he did score 2 runs, but he did snap his 6-game hitting streak, hitting .346 with an .816 OPS right now, which is the highest in the Orioles lineup today. Golly, man, you look at Tyler O'Neill, 659, Mountcastle, 599, Rutschman, 636. As bad as Hanley, 293. Good Lord. As bad as Rutschman has been, Ryan Mountcastle's OPS is 37 points lower. As bad as Rutschman's been,
Mountcastle doesn't walk at all.
No walks.
Rutschman at least walks. His walk to strikeout ratio is pretty decent. Mountcastle don't walk. He's up there to hit and swing and miss sometimes.
Sometimes, man.
I'm in a nice mood tonight.
But Rivera's been putting bat on the ball. He's been taking professional at bats. He's been hitting the ball into the gaps, both gaps. And I'm looking at Rivera, and I'm thinking, all right, when Westberg and Arias come back, what do you do? Because you
know what he reminds me of? Gio Urshela.
Okay.
Remember how he just played baseball for the Yankees, and he played it pretty damn good when he got consistent at bats and put up a pretty decent season, got himself a pretty decent contract.
Yeah, he went
didn't
to the
do
Twins,
anything great. Yeah, he didn't do anything great. He just did everything average to above average and played himself into a nice contract. Rivera reminds me of that, and so does Urias. Those are the guys that you want on your team because you're not afraid to pinch hit them. You know what I mean? Like, if you had to pick between Rivera and Mateo, I guarantee you 1,000 out of 1,000 people are going to pick Rivera.
Yeah.
You want that kind of a player on your team.
And I think
that's good defense.
Yeah, he doesn't mishandle the knock on wood because we say that and he's going to have an error in 4 straight games. Rivera, he fields everything hit to him. The throws are on a line and accurate for the most part. And he puts the bat on the ball. And you're absolutely right. When Westberg and Arias come back, I don't see how you don't DFA Mateo. I don't see how
send Ryan Mountcastle down if he's not going. Like he seems like he's getting ready to get going, maybe. But if he plays third and first, and Urias can play second, and he's played left field, I probably wouldn't really trust him out there. But you've got versatility. I know they dropped their pants for Jorge Mateo for some reason. It gives you an option to keep him around. I want Mountcastle to figure it out. I think we all do. He's probably one of the more likable players on the team. But look, this is a business, man. And Urias has earned it. And I feel like Rivera has probably earned it because if you DFA him, I don't think it's going to be very long before he's claimed.
Yeah. I mean, he had 313 for the Orioles last year. He's hitting 346 right now. Mateo has, 3 hits this year? And his first walk came last night. And he's got, 3 stolen bases. So you look at what you're getting from Mateo versus what you're getting from Rivera, and you have Gunnar that can play shortstop. You've got Holiday who can play shortstop. You've got Westberg who can play shortstop.
Right.
So, and then you have Rivera who can play first base. He can play third base. He can DH. It makes sense that you would keep him. Yeah, you're not going to have the speed of Mateo on your bench, but you guys aren't stealing any bases anyway.
Right.
And he's not getting on base to steal those bases. So what does it matter? Now, our old boy cash considerations could come into play if you DFA Mateo. Maybe that goes to your point of we're playing him to shop him. You could DFA him and then work out a trade with somebody before, so that if you don't think he's going to clear waivers. But I do think that when we think about it, Mateo's days may be numbered. I don't see how you justify keeping him on the roster over Rivera when Urias and Westberg come back.
Find a way.
Well, what'll happen is somebody will come up with like a lame hammy.
Right.
It'll be like Seti coming up with a lame hammy, and then Mateo stays on your roster. Yeah, right. Oh my God. You remember when somebody posted Jorge Mateo just robbed a home run during batting practice? Like, what did he do? He robbed a home run. That dude posts so many things that just take shots at fans. It's like every other thing that he posts is just like trolling the fans. Another thing, everybody's been complaining about Rutschman hitting second or third in the Orioles lineup. Is Brandon Hyde trolling us? He didn't hit second or third today. He hit cleanup. Then he hit a Sun-aided triple and a single, and he drove in a run today. Are we being trolled here? Like, how is Adley Rutschman still hitting in the top 4 in the lineup?
I wish I had an answer for you, Paul. I really do. Part of me is like, okay, who else could you put there? But it comes down to production. I don't care about his pride. I don't care that he was a 1-of-1 7 years ago, right? Like at that point, it doesn't matter anymore. Like you're into your arbitration years. Who cares?
Right.
Like put the best lineup together. Yeah, it worked out today for a run. Cool. Baseball gods helped us there. But the career numbers just aren't good in the top 4. And I'm not saying that he's not a good hitter. Yeah. I still believe in Adley Rutschman. I still think the good player is in there somewhere. I just think that if this goes back to them just being mentally soft or however they want to sugarcoat this, just get him out of that spot. Let him be the good player that he could be where there's less pressure. Because guys are still getting on, but the top half of your lineup just kind of stinks. Like, just get him out of there. I understand you probably have nobody else to put there, but who cares?
It should be O'Neill. You signed O'Neill to mash home runs,
sure,
and crush.
But even in the 2-hole, I would trust Emmanuel Rivera right now in the 2-hole because he's got good back control. He can hit the ball behind a runner. He can lift it out of there if need be, and he seems to take more pitches than anybody else I've seen right now. Why not? Well, because he's not that fast. Right. I'm sorry, Adley Rutschman's a catcher. He's not that fast either. But like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if the top 4 hitters in your lineup are left-handed. No. I need a top 3 that's Holiday, Henderson, and O'Hearn. Maybe
he's hitting decent.
Which is
he's
weird.
A little cold right now, but he's hitting decent enough.
Yeah, I mean they're all a little cold right now. Some guys are heating up. We're gonna get into that here in just a minute. But I'm telling you, Adley Rutschman does more for this team hitting 7th than he does in the top 4 of your lineup. You tell me that Adley Rutschman's hitting 7th for the Baltimore Orioles, and I'm like, okay, we've got somebody that we can trust
Right.
in a late game situation, batting in the bottom third of the order. Here's the other thing. One, he's hitting. What's he hitting?
Did it just
Where is
go
it?
above 2? Yeah.
203. 203 with a 636 OPS this season. The second half of last season, he hit about 203 with a below 600 OPS. We're talking about almost a calendar year now. We're talking 5 full months worth of baseball from Adley Rutschman of hitting 200 with a 600 OPS. One of one. The first pick in the draft in 2019. If his name wasn't Adley Rutschman and he was a 4th round pick instead of the first pick in the draft, he's not playing every day. He's a backup
Even if
catcher.
he was late first rounder. I don't care. I don't care if he was 101. I really don't. I don't care if he was supposed to be the next god and you're trying to force it. I just look, this is your 7. Like, let's just win. Let's worry about that less of that pride stuff later. Worry about Mike Elias's pride later. Like right now, let's focus on winning. And if you truly believe that he is your best option right now in the top 4, we got bigger problems.
Well, and here's the other thing. It was about this time last year where Santander was hitting 167 with like 1 home run. And then he went bananas and hit 13 home runs in May. And then he hit like another
19 in June.
And then he hit like another. No, he hit like 9 in June. But he hit 22 home runs in something like that in 2 months. Adley could get hot. And I know that we're sitting here and we've been saying it all year. It's still early. It is still early. It's still only May 11th. And like with a guy like Adley Rutschman, it's like a legitimate argument because his whiff rate isn't high. His strikeout rate isn't high. He is barreling a lot of baseballs. His exit velocity is not great. His swing speed isn't great, but he's putting the bat on the ball, and he has. I mean, you saw him come up the other night and hit a line drive with the bases loaded, right at the shortstop. I mean, he smoked the ball, and it was 95 miles an hour, which is considered a high exit velocity, hard hit ball right at the shortstop. I mean, that's bad luck to hit a ball in the screws and it's right at a shortstop. So he does. Part of me wants to say he's earned the benefit of that because I still think back to the first 3 months of the year last year when Adley was hitting 296 with 16 home runs and 55 RBIs at the end of June.
And I feel like the difference
that player is there.
I don't know if they told him or it's just in his mind to be a power hitter. Like, just get back to hitting a soft line drive to left field or hitting the ball down the left field line or finding a gap. Like, you have good enough wheels to turn a single into a double. Like, just get back to being you. There's plenty of guys in this lineup that hit the ball out of the ballpark. You don't have to be that guy. Go back to drawing walks. Go back to just hitting the ball the other way or just hitting it. You're already hitting it hard. Just stop worrying about a home run, man. Home runs are supposed to be mistakes that you just hit really well. I don't know. Holiday's the same way. Like that ton of power in that swing, but he doesn't need to be that guy. It seems like he's not, and he's hitting really well. Really well.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Ryan O'Hearn, same thing. Like, he's not focused on just driving the ball out of the ballpark. He's hitting over 300 in his last 10 games, right? Because he's just hitting the ball hard. Like, that who cares about leading the league in home runs? Like, for real, who cares? Because we've done it for how many years now? We haven't won a playoff game. Like, who cares? Does it help? Yeah. But who cares, man? Like, there's plenty of good hitters on this team. Just let them be good hitters. And Adley just needs to get back to it.
It's funny, man, because you look at what Matt Wieters was for the Orioles. And when Matt Wieters played 130 plus games, except for 2010, but when Matt Wieters played, you look at 2011, 2012, 2013, 139, 144, 148 games. He hit 262, 249, 235, but he had 22, 23, 22 home runs, 68, 83, 79 RBI. He had an OPS of 778, 764, 704. Um, what you got out of Matt Wieters, he was a better
Mhm.
player than Rutschman.
I never
He
understood
was
why
a better
people
player. He
thought he wasn't good. Like, I understand, like, where he went in the draft, but Matt had a great career. Like, were people expecting him
he
to
had
hit
a
300 just because Joe Mauer did?
they called him Joe Mauer Power and Jesus and Cleats. But I mean, you're still talking about a 4-time All-Star with you who won 2 gold
Right.
gloves.
And he missed
And he
didn't
put
he miss a
and
whole season with Tommy John too?
he that 2014 he played 26 games, but he slashed 308, 339, 500, 839. He got off to a hot
Yeah.
start. You knew he was going to come back down to earth in 2014. But Matt Wieters, you could make the argument that Matt Wieters is the best, most complete catcher in the history of the
Yeah.
Baltimore Orioles. The best hitting catcher in the history of the Orioles is Chris
Mhm.
Hoiles, and it's not close. It's not close. But as far as defensively, offensively, what he meant to the team and how much better they were when he was on the field, Matt Wieters was every bit worth the first round pick. Maybe not 4th overall that the Orioles spent on him, but he was he 4th overall?
I
I
don't
think
even
he
remember back
was,
that
right?
far.
5th. He was 5th overall in 2007. Maybe he's not worth the 5th overall pick, but he was sure as hell a first round catcher who had a damn good career in Baltimore. A
I had
damn
no
good career
issues
in
with Matt
Baltimore.
Wieters. I thought he gave us
Yeah,
the way he handled pitch instead. Look, people want everybody just because Joe Mauer hit 300 and Posey had some good offensive years, but catching is so much more than that. Like if you get a catcher who hits 240, like you're doing something. You got something if
right.
he's really good defensively. The problem right now with Adley is you just can't throw to the right side of the bag or just bounces it. You know, if he cleaned all that up, I don't think people would complain as much. But like, don't put pressure on yourself, man. Like, who cares? Nobody remembers you were
Yeah,
one of one, honestly, 7 years ago. You know, like they don't remember until somebody tells them.
if Matt Wieters, if Adley Rutschman was Matt Wieters right now, we wouldn't be talking about Adley
No.
Rutschman. We wouldn't be talking about him. But he's not. He's not, he's hitting worse. The power's gone. Like, you're talking about a guy who had 15, 16 home runs through the end of June last year, who ended with 19. He's got, 3 home runs this year? 4 home runs?
Why don't they
4
just
home
tell him
runs this
stop
year?
hitting left-handed?
Yeah. You said that a few weeks ago on the
He
show.
did it to Cedric Mullins, and he hit a 30-30 season.
Let's, I don't think he's doing that great from the right side this year, though.
I mean, he hadn't had many opportunities, but
I
like maybe the eyesight's better, or maybe just the bat the ball is better. Like you don't know until you try. Like that's what I don't understand. Like, okay, hey, take 5 games, see what happens. It's 5 games. Like you tell me you're
No,
gonna
he
just
did.
forget how to hit left-handed with those 5 games? Might actually help you right about now. Like
So this
sometimes your
year
eyes just better.
versus right-handed pitching, this year, he's slashing 214, 307, 393, 700. Versus left-handed pitching, he's slashing 154, 267, 154, 421. So as a right-handed hitter this year, he's 6 for 39
So, but I mean, that's just the
as a
whole team
right-handed hitter
against
this year.
lefties, though. That's why it's why
Yeah,
it's hard to
I mean,
gauge
that's true.
because the whole team
And let's
sucks.
And if you remember his first year, he was terrible as a right-handed hitter and awesome from the left side of the plate.
Right.
What happened to his doubles game too? He had like 35 doubles in like 113 games his rookie year, and he's never
That's
even
what I
sniffed
mean.
that
Like
since then.
he wasn't trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He was just hitting it hard, and it was going to the gaps. And sometimes they left the yard. Like that's all we need out of him. That's it. And I don't understand what their fascination with trying to make him a power hitter. I don't get it.
And look, I got to pay a bill here. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. That's 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. Here's the thing, man. When I lost my train of thought, completely lost my train of thought. We were just talking about Adley and
Adley being doubled.
this is the issue that I have. Matt Holliday had to fix Jackson Holloway's
Jackson
swing.
swing. Yeah,
He had to fix his batting stance. How did no coach on the team notice this?
I think you already know the answer to
Every
that question.
every single player, aside from Holloway's having a better year, but it's because of his dad. It seems like Gunner's getting back to being Gunner, but every other player is like taking a step back. How has nobody noticed that Cedric Mullins' stance has opened up a little bit more over the last few weeks, and that the bat is more on a tilt
Yeah.
than it was flat? Somebody had to say to me, "Hey, I think his hands look different." I went back and I looked, and you compare a home run that he hit on April 15th compared to the home run that he hit on May 4th. The bat's tilted down on May 4th, and the you can see more of his back knee because his
Yeah,
stance is
he
more
was
open.
more straight like this, and now it doesn't seem like much. It really
It's
doesn't,
slight.
but it
It's very
is.
slight, but it makes all the difference in the world. A
Mhm.
quarter, a quarter inch on the bat is the difference between hitting a home run and popping up.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like you've got that stance a little bit more opened up now, and it might be an inch that he's opened up a little bit more.
That's all it takes.
That bat instead of being flat is like the hands instead of being like this, they're a
Mhm.
little like this from here to here. All the difference in the world.
Yep.
It has baseball is like that. And I mean, look, he got 2 hits today, looked a lot better today. But nobody's noticing this or on the coaching staff. And if they are, what are they doing about it? Why does somebody's dad need to figure out, hey, your hands aren't in the right spot? Why does Sugano's old pitching coach from Japan need to figure out what he's doing with his delivery? Nobody's being held accountable, and you're watching guys. How has nobody said to Adley, look, man, if I see you do a helicopter uppercut swing one more time, I'm benching you for a week.
Right.
Like that swing, and he never makes contact with it. And when he does,
Exactly.
he pops the ball straight up. I mean, it is an egregious helicopter uppercut swing that he
Yep.
has. How do you expect it to get on top of a baseball swinging like that? Like, how do you expect to do? And then I'm watching all these Will Clark videos because Will Clark he posted
He's
somebody posted
hilarious.
something. Dude, Will Clark being the hitting coach for the Baltimore Orioles right now would feed families.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it would be incredible because the guy is just like an all-time hitter. Like Will Clark, if he didn't have the injuries and whatnot, Will Clark was just that dude. You're talking about a guy who hit 330 multiple times in the big
Right.
leagues. Like, and I'm watching him talk about how driving the hip to the baseball, the ball's outside, you drive it to the opposite batter's box. If it's straight on, you drive it towards center field. Like the just the stuff that I watch, and he's always drunk when he's talking about this
Yeah.
stuff, it seems like. But
Him and Eric Burns.
right. Watching Will Clark talk about hitting a baseball and how like we're it's simple and people trying to do too much. You're doing too like you're overstating it.
Yeah.
I'm watching that and I'm like, there's no chance that these Orioles hitting coaches are talking to people like this. Like, there's a way that you got to handle guys that are like this, that they're struggling in their head cases. And even if they have the inexperience that Brandon Hyde's talking about, where, they get in their heads and they can't let things go. Who better than somebody like Will Clark to come in there? And I'm not saying he should be the Orioles hitting coach, but it can't be the guys that we have in there now because
Right.
you're watching all Ryan Mountcastle looks worse than he's ever looked. Although he has healed up recently, Rutschman looks the worst he's ever looked. Cedric Mullins has dropped 80 points in his batting average the last 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Like he was 0 for 17 coming into today's game, and I think 2 for his last 40 something.
Right.
Like nobody's being held accountable for how bad this offense is, and it's almost like anytime Ryan McKenna would get an extra base hit, he would get like another month on the roster.
Yeah.
The Orioles just scored 7 runs today, and they went 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position, and which is a little bit better than 250. So now it's almost like, oh, we just really squared the ball up well, and against a lefty also today. I think we're on the right track. And what's it going to take then? Another 10 days of scoring 3 runs or less before we start having whispers again? I just don't understand how nobody has been held accountable for the slow start and the poor bats. The pitching you can understand, but there's no excuse for the offense. And you're not going to tell me Jordan Westberg makes that much of a difference because he was in an over 30 stretch right before he got hurt.
Right.
So,
Well,
wha
so was Adley, over
yeah,
20 something.
over 22. 0
Yeah.
for 22. And Mountcastle was 0 for 19.
Mhm.
And Kjerstad was 0 for 18.
And those things happen in baseball. I mean,
But
but the
to
problem
4
is you don't
players
want
at the
more than
same
one.
time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can't have more than one. And if when they happen, cool, whatever. That's baseball. You try to eliminate it as fast as possible. But I feel like everybody at some point goes 0 for 13 plus at
Mhm.
some point of the season. It's
Right.
it's impossible to escape. And it's going to happen to Judge at some point. I mean, remember last year what was Judge hitting at one point? Like into the season, like a good bit in the first month and a half. He was what, 160, 170 for a bit, and then he
I
just like
think
went off.
no, I think he started the year pretty hot last year.
No, 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 he was bad last year. I
But
gotta
he was really bad in the playoffs last year.
Yes.
He was off on the playoffs, but I'm pretty sure that he was hitting like 360 with like 30 home runs like mid-June. Like I want to say, and I'll look it up, but I'm almost
So
certain.
he was 207 in March and April last year, and then May went to 361 with 14 home runs.
Oh yeah, and then in June
June he hit
was
409.
yeah, and I think he had less. So I think he had like 12 home runs or something like that in June. But he had
Yeah.
back-to-back Players of the Month
Yeah.
in May and June, where he went absolutely bananas. But I mean,
So
that's his
207. I mean, and it was 38 strikeouts and
yeah.
170 at bats. So yeah,
Oh,
people were ripping him last year, but I
when
mean,
Aaron Judge goes cold, like
it goes real
it's
cold.
he goes real cold. It's he can't hit anything he starts chasing. I mean, what he's doing right now is stupid.
Yeah. Is he the best right-handed
396.
hitter of all time?
I don't know who you argue is better.
I've seen plenty of people say Pujols, and then when you like look up the numbers, like Pujols is like his best season is like 12th, and then there's
Yeah.
Judge in there like 4 times.
See, the thing about Albert Pujols, he had some great years in St. Louis, and from 2001 to 2011, you knew that from Albert Pujols, you were getting about 320, you were getting 40 home runs, you were getting 120 RBI at a minimum,
Yeah.
right? Then he went to LA. And his first year in LA, he hit 299. He hit 30, I think he hit 39, 40 home runs, something like that. And then every year after that was 240, 35 home runs, 250, 26 home runs. You know what I mean? He was still putting up numbers, driving in runs, but he wasn't the same guy. He was a guy
Yeah.
you want on your team, but he wasn't that dude. Aaron Judge, I mean, he's hitting 396 with a 486 OBP. His slugging percentage is higher than any everyday player on the Orioles OPS.
Right.
His slugging percent, we were just talking, Mountcastle's OPS is 599, Adley's is 636. Aaron Judge's slugging percentage is 772. 772.
Right.
His OPS plus 253. 253. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Aaron Judge is the greatest right-handed hitter of all time. The only thing that could possibly stop Aaron Judge from being labeled as a top 5 hitter of all time is injuries.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time that he's played 150. He played 148, 157. How did he play 148 games and only hit 39 home runs? That's crazy to me. Then he plays 157. He hits 62 home runs. He plays 106. He hits 37 home runs. He plays 158. He hits 58 home runs. Aaron Judge, when Aaron Judge is healthy and he's playing every day, he's the most feared hitter in baseball.
Yeah.
More than Ohtani. Now, how about Ohtani?
Sure.
Where's Ohtani rank as a hitter?
I don't know because there's been so many good lefties.
Yeah. I mean,
And he's only been doing it for what,
Eric,
3 or 4 years?
Bonds. Yeah. I mean, he had 27 home runs as a rookie, didn't he?
Something like that. I'm looking at Judge. So I used to think Miguel Cabrera was one of the better hitters that I've ever watched, but I just looked him up against Pujols, and it's not even close. And I didn't realize it was that far apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't realize that either. I would have said that they were very similar hitters, but
Yeah,
man,
he's got like 400 more RBIs, 200 more home runs. It's like 188 or something like that, but still, um, 200 more hits and just 200 more plate appearances. Is that right? No, 2,000. Sorry.
200.
So it looked like it was what 283 more games Pujols played.
Mm,
So I mean, it kind of evens out, but I used to think Miggy was just when Miggy got in the box, like you just knew he was getting a base hit.
yeah, I mean he's that guy that got that base hit when the Orioles were trying to intentionally walk him. I was at that game. That was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Sorry, my mic just started falling off the desk.
Miggy was really, really good, but
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the
yeah,
greatest hitters. He is one of the greatest hitters of all time. But when you talk about the greatest hitters of all time, you could be talking about 200 guys.
right.
You know, and yeah, Miguel Cabrera's in that conversation. What Aaron Judge does, he hits for average, he hits for power, he gets on base, he can steal bases. Man, I'm looking at Ohtani's numbers. I mean,
Jesus. So I if you compare their first 10 years, both of them Judge to Pujols side by side, it's not even close.
oh,
Not even close.
Judge is a maniac. He's an absolute maniac.
No. He's not even close to Pujols.
Oh, he's not.
No, Pujols has. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see as good tonight. A 30 higher WAR, and he played 500 more games in the same amount of years.
Well, he was
But
incredibly
he's only
durable.
hit roughly 78 more home runs in those 500 games.
Well, I mean, you're talking about you're talking.
Yeah.
329,
331 hitter Pujols was in his first 10 years. Nothing taken away from Judge. Judge was only 292. That's great, but 624 slugging. The Judge is only 611.
I mean, you look what he did in St. Louis, 326. I mean, he had 326 with 469 home runs in 12 years. 326 with a 1031 OPS his first 12 years.
Yeah.
That is
Judge has a 1020 OPS, which is outstanding, but Pujols' first 10 was 1050.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe he's not the greatest of all time. I don't know. He's going to play another 10 years to find out. That's for sure.
I can't believe the numbers I'm looking at. I mean, I knew he was a model of consistency.
Yeah, what he did in St. Louis may never be replicated again.
Look at the runs that he scored. His lowest number of runs in any season was 2007 when he scored 99 runs.
Yeah.
He's got 137, 133, 129, 124. Like the runs, the on base percentage, his lowest on base percentage before 20 in his first 10 years was 394.
Yeah. Oh, so I clicked on playoffs here. Oh shoot. I went back too many. Brought him. All right. So playoffs.
319.
Batting average, Judge 205. Pujols 322. In almost the same amount of games. Pujols,
where are you getting where are you getting the just in the first 10 years? No.
Where just in the first 10 years.
Oh, okay. Because Pujols for his entire career in the playoffs hit 319.
Yeah.
With a 995
so I didn't
OPS.
want to make it too lopsided because Judge has only played 10 years. So I tried to did both of them the same amount of time frame. And it's just absolutely stupid. I mean, look, Judge has 16 home runs in the postseason. I think that kind of gets overlooked. And they have the same amount of RBIs, 34. They have the same amount of walks. The difference here, Pujols had 28 strikeouts in the playoffs in 55 games, 56 games. Judge has 86. That's a lot. That is a lot. Holy crap. And then here's another difference. 12 intentional walks for Pujols to only one of Aaron Judge in the playoffs.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say about that is that I think they handle the playoffs a lot differently now.
For sure.
than they did back then. But now it's like we don't want to put anybody on base. We don't.
Yeah.
All these games are too close. I mean, you don't see a ton of blowouts in the postseason anymore, and they don't want to put guys on base. Back then, it was like, I mean, there's a reason they call them the machine.
Yeah.
Like, man,
I
it's
can't believe this.
like
I really can't.
you look at what Albert Pujols did, and it's revisionist history when you say, because what Aaron Judge does in a full rate. I mean, you expect him to hit 60 home runs every year, but when
Yeah.
Albert Pujols, he averaged, what was his average? What did he average? 42, 43 home runs a year his
Mhm.
first 10 seasons. I'm like 120. Like, he was just so freaking good.
And what's crazy
And
is he started at 21, where Judge started at 24.
mm-hmm,
Like,
mm-hmm.
oof.
How did Pujols only start at age 21?
I think he was a
Oh,
high school guy.
no, he was drafted at a Metropolitan Community College, Maple Woods, Kansas City,
Okay. So what was
in
he,
the
about 19?
in the 13th round.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was 19 years old when he was drafted. So
Yeah.
that's insanity
I
that he
heard a
was a 13th
story. So
round
when I
pick.
got drafted by the Marlins and Cardinals share a facility. And the story that I was told, now, this might have been like, you're a new player, we're gonna fluff this story a little bit, kind of get confidence in yourself kind of thing. Maybe, I'm not sure because I'd never asked. But they said that Albert was a catcher. And did he catch in community college? Does it say?
I started looking up your numbers because I
Oh,
wanted to
they're
see what
terrible.
you
They're
got drafted.
terrible.
You got drafted out of Dundalk.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let me go back
Well, I
to
was
Albert
supposed to go out of
Pujols.
high school, but I tore my labrum.
Oh,
So Dean
gotcha.
Albany was like, "I'll just play one more year," and I was like, "All right, whatever."
So
And
Pujols, it says first baseman, left fielder, and third baseman. Yeah, when he started, he was a third baseman,
yeah, so
if I remember
their
correctly.
story was he was a catcher, right? And he was there working out, and he was didn't look very good, couldn't hit
Mhm.
at all, and the Marlins were the ones working him out. They flew him in there, they were working him out, whatever. Just looked terrible. Couldn't throw down to second base. Just everything looked horrible. But there was a scout sitting. I don't know if you ever seen like the spring training complex down there for those two teams, but they have windows all in the outfield, right? That's the Cardinals' side.
Mhm.
Somebody was just sitting there eating lunch and just happened to look out and liked his size, and they said, "Story again. Got a pretty good swing. Looks really terrible right now, but it looks like if he changed this one thing, he could hit the ball pretty good." The Marlins sent him on the way, didn't call him again anymore, because apparently it was just a absolutely horrible workout.
Mhm.
And then St. Louis called, and the rest was history. And that one guy
Wow.
changed that one thing, and all of a sudden Albert Pujols could just rake.
Well, he did. He never played catcher at in
I don't
any
know if they were
professional
working him
ball.
out for that or what they were doing, but that was the story that they had told at that time, and they were just like, "Yeah,
Let
we
me
passed up on this guy because we didn't think he was very good, but here
so
he is."
let's check out what he did in the minor leagues. I didn't think we were going to go off on an Albert Pujols down the Albert Pujols rabbit hole in the show, but that's why I love doing the show, because that just happens. But let's see. In the minors, he had 314, 19 home runs, 96 RBI in his first minor league season. He went from low A to triple A in
In
his
the first
first
year?
minor league season.
Good.
And then he started the year in the majors. He played 133 minor league games, and he was in the major leagues and never looked back.
I believe it.
Let's see what his fielding looked like in the standard pitching. Oh, 2022, he did pitch at a 36 ERA. Registered fielding. Nope, he played third base for 127 games in 2000 in the minors. He played more left field than anything else. His first couple of seasons, though.
Yeah.
In the majors, but yeah, Albert Pujols, crazy numbers. Like, I knew they were good. You forget just how good. I mean, you're talking
Mhm.
about a guy who's hitting 40 home runs, driving 120 to 140 every year, and he's hitting 330 and getting on base at a 460 clip. Man, I think about the stuff that we've seen in our lifetime. You're what, 34? Not to age you, but you're
36.
36,
Yep.
36 years old. So you're only a few years younger than me. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Albert Pujols, Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey,
What a
like
time.
the players that we saw in their heyday growing up it's nuts.
Do
I
you
think about
think
that a
the
lot.
do you think the players now are just as physically gifted as those guys, but there's more of them to where it's like not one guy really stands out outside of Judge and Otani?
I think that just about every player that's an everyday player at the big league level is better than the average player that we saw growing
Right.
up.
I
You
feel like
know,
backups are probably starters back then.
I mean, you look at a guy like you look at a guy like Mike Bordick,
Yeah.
right? Mike Bordick was a damn good player, an excellent fielding shortstop. And I remember watching Mike Bordick play and being like, "Man, he sucks." And then when you look back on it, he hit like 260 with like 12 to 14 home runs every year.
Yeah.
His worst year, he hit like 238, which Santander hit 235 last year.
Right.
Like
Then the game was played differently back then. Like they
the
really
game was
prioritized defense and crap, but they
go
don't now.
back go back and just if you have a bunch of baseball cards, look at some of the baseball cards that you have from when you were a kid.
All over
That
300.
well, but you look at some of these guys back then. That it was like there's no chance they're playing baseball today.
Yeah. Let
There's,
me ask you a real good question here. Do you think Melvin Mora was a better player than Jordan Westberg?
yes,
You do?
yeah.
Do you think
I
Melvin could hit way he hit in today's game?
see Melvin Moore. Like his heyday was 2004 to 2010, right? I mean, a guy who hit 341 years, still the Orioles
Right.
all-time season mark. He hit 20 anywhere from 27 to 29 home runs most years, drove in over 100, took the third base like a fish in water. But he could also play the outfield and play the outfield really well. He played shortstop, he played second base. He didn't strike out as much as Westberg does. He walked more than Westberg does. He hit for power, he hit for average, he got on base. And it's not like he was playing in the late 80s, early 90s. He was playing, in
Steroid
the
era.
early in the steroid. I mean, it was a steroid era back then, but I'm talking about like some of these guys who, like, it's not like he was like Jeff Rebele. You know what I mean? Melvin Moore was a good player. Do I think that Jordan Westberg is maybe a better athlete? Maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, we also have to think that Westberg, he's been injured a lot. Even though one of them's not his fault. I mean, he's been injured a lot recently. And he was in a funk this year. I never saw Melvin Mora in a funk like I've seen Jordan Westberg in. And maybe it's, again, the whole revisionist history, but I just don't think that you have a guy that hits between 280 and 340 for 8 years in a row that puts up the numbers that Melvin Mora had, and you take that away from him.
Yeah.
But
I was reading Birdland's comment here about Randy Johnson having 400 strikeouts in today's game. I don't know.
He wouldn't pitch deep enough in the games to get that many strikeouts.
What's different between Randy Johnson and what Aroldis Chapman is?
Well, Aroldis Chapman's a reliever and Randy Johnson's a
starter. I'm just saying, like, in general, like, stuff-wise. And he gets hit hard sometimes.
Randy Johnson was 6'10".
Yeah, I mean, Chapman's what, 6'5"?
Something like that. But that and those arms, I think that his wingspan was like 7.5 feet, though. So you think about that guy, about his stride, where he releases the baseball.
Yeah,
he's probably throwing from 50 feet. You know what I mean?
True.
When you take his stride and how hard he threw on top of that, I mean, Randy Johnson is one of the greatest pitchers that's ever lived. And then you think he wouldn't get the innings because he would throw 100. Like, you'd see Randy Johnson pitching in the 8th inning at 137 pitches.
All the time you saw that back then, though.
Yeah. Today's
day never got hurt.
Today's day and age, Randy Johnson would have been done after the 5th inning. He would have been at 100 pitches in
Fifth.
the after the fifth inning. I mean, you got a guy who's got 11 strikeouts through 5 innings. He's given up one hit. Like
Blake
you're
Snell.
giving him right. You're giving him 5 innings. But Blake Snell back in the 90s probably throws 200 plus innings because
Yeah,
they
maybe.
didn't give a shit. You know.
Yeah.
But Randy Johnson would strike out a ton of guys. He would strike out more now than I think that he would average per nine back then. But he wouldn't get the innings to be able to do it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't get the innings. But today's show brought to you by Glenn Clark Radio. If you missed anything from Glenn Clark Radio this week, including conversations with John Heyman, Ravens draft pick Bilal Kone, five-star Maryland basketball commit Darius Adams, and more, you can find them all now in the Glenn Clark Radio Week in Review feature at PressBoxOnline.com. And as always, watch or listen to GCR every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. at PressBoxOnline.com/radio or right here on Facebook and YouTube. Did not want to be on the show much past 9:30 today just because I didn't get to see my wife early for Mother's Day because she worked all day, and I'm hoping she's still awake. So I'm going to skip some stuff here. Do want to talk a little bit about the bats that are heating up for the Orioles right now. Gunnar Henderson, he's got a 17-game on-base streak, 21 for 68 during that on-base streak, 3 home runs, 3 doubles, a triple, 6 RBI, 5 walks, 17 Ks. Jackson Holiday, he's in the middle of a 5 for 22 stretch, but in the 16 games since his dad noticed the thing with his stance, 16 for 49, 2 home runs, double, 4 RBIs, 5 walks. Ryan Mountcastle, I don't know that many people know this. He has a hit in 9 of his last 10 games, including 3 multi-hit games, and over that stretch, he's 12 for 39 with 4 doubles, a home run, and 7 RBI. So those guys' bats are coming to life. You're not seeing a ton of power from any of them. I mean, they've combined for, 3, 5, 6 home runs since mid-April. You'd like to see one of them hit 6 home runs, but nobody's hitting the ball out of the ballpark with any consistency for this ball club. But it's nice to see those 3 guys who, generally speaking, should be hitting in the top half of your lineup, starting to get their base hits. And Mountcastle's been getting a lot of hard line drive base hits. Starting to pull the ball a little bit more than what we've been seeing the last couple of years from him. Hopefully they can get him going. Are you on the trade Ryan Mountcastle bandwagon?
I don't want to be. I really don't.
Neither do I. I really like the guy. Like, I want him to be.
Just, but we looked at it though, but he hits. He gets on. I mean, yes, he chases some pitches. Look, a power hitter is going to chase pitches. The problem is he just doesn't have power. He's hitting north of 270, which is pretty hard to find in today's game. Defense is stellar, in my opinion.
I agree.
It saved a lot of extra runs on a really bad pitching staff already. I'm here for him to turn it around. I give him another 2 months. Is two too long?
I mean, if they're trading him, it's not going to be before the deadline. You got 2.5 months to the deadline.
Yeah, so 2 months. You got to figure it out.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. It's like, I don't think he's ever going to hit 30 home runs again.
I don't need him to. Hit me 20.
And I don't think. I mean, he had 13 last year. He had 18 the year before that. He hasn't hit 20 home runs in 3 years.
That's what I mean. It's a problem for a major league first baseman.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where he's starting to hit the criticism. I
mean, can you imagine if James Loney could have hit 25 home runs? Like James Loney hit 300 every year, but he hit 9 home runs every year. If James Loney could have hit 25 home runs, he would have been an all-star.
True, a millionaire.
Yeah. He sounds like a beagle.
Hey.
I know he's not. He's more like a German Shepherd mix, right?
He's a Shepherd Sharpei.
Yeah,
so
Sharpei. That's how I say Sharpie fancy.
Yeah,
Sharpei.
He's got that fat nose that looks like he got stung by a bee.
Oh,
but
really?
Then everything else is German Shepherd. So I really don't know. I'm guessing. That where we got him didn't know either.
That bark is straight beagle / foxhound. Like,
I know, and he looks like a damn fox too.
Yeah,
big bushy tail. He's brown, a little bit of red.
He's a good-looking dog. I saw the picture that you posted of him. He's a good-looking dog.
He'll jump up here if I let him.
Were you guys looking to get a dog, or you just happened to fall in love with him randomly?
We put ours down at the end of January. He was 14, just couldn't walk anymore. And we tried to wait it out, and the kids just started to keep asking, coming home crying, "Oh, we miss our dog."
Mm-hmm.
Come on, jump up. Come here. Come say hi to Paul. Come here. Now you don't want to jump. You jump on everything. Come here.
He maybe he's camera shy. I get it.
Come on.
A lot of people, a lot of beagles are. You know.
Come on, jump.
Um,
Fine, whatever.
if my dog Bruce were down here, he would be on top of me right now. Bruce is a good looking boy, and he weighs 120 pounds. He's a hoss. For a yellow lab, 120 pounds.
Yeah, that's a lot for a lab.
Yeah, I mean he's a big dog, but he wasn't getting a lot of exercise the last year because of our living situation. And then so we had to put him on this metabolism food, and he stopped eating it. He was just like we just put it on him on it like 2 weeks ago. He ate it like the first 3 days, and now he's like he refused. So we had to get him normal food again. Like he would his bowl from breakfast would be there the next morning for breakfast. He refused to eat it because if it tastes how it smells, I don't blame him. My God. Yeah, look, the Orioles bats. Hopefully, they're starting to wake up. Some of the guys in the lineup, their bats are starting to wake up. Somebody said to me the other day, Paul, you on board with? They said that they heard somewhere that Heston Kjerstad for Mitch Keller is gaining traction. Would you trade Heston Kjerstad for Mitch Keller?
Yeah, sure. That's how I feel about it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. See, I look at Mitch Keller. He had a really great first half of years back, and it got him a decent sized contract. He's at best a number 3. In the last 2 years, he's pitched like a number 4 when you look at his ERA above 4. But he's better than 2/5 of their rotation right now.
Yeah.
You know, you give me a top 4.
Consistent.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to go out there and he's going to give you 6 innings of 3-run ball.
Yep.
You know, for the most part. And you give me a rotation right now that's got Eflin, Keller, Sugano, and Kramer, and then Povich is your 5. You know, I think you win more than you lose. Yeah, I feel good about that rotation. Then you're talking about Kyle Bradish coming back. I haven't heard anything about Bradish in a little bit. I also stopped reading a lot of the articles about the Orioles. I'm so pissed off at them right now. Have you heard anything about Bradish and
just that he's been throwing bullpens?
He's been throwing bullpens. Like nothing about rehab stints or anything like that. Like
I know he's a little bit away from that. A couple weeks.
Because
I don't think they're going to rush it.
Because they did say like the second half of the summer, but what's the second half of the summer? Because technically summer doesn't start till the 3rd week of June, right? So does that mean he's back in August?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like mid to late August, you'll get him back, with a couple weeks to go in the season, where he maybe makes like 1 or 2 starts, maybe 3, and then it's like we'll evaluate if he's going to be on the playoff roster or not. If everything goes to plan.
That was my expectations all along. Was you're lucky if you get him back at all, and if you do get him back, it'll be like a John Means situation in 2023 where he was pitching the last month of the year. But then I think about it, and it's like, well, John Means had a setback, and if there's now to me what they've said, it makes it seem like after the All-Star break, like maybe you get 2 full months out of Kyle Bradish. What about Grayson?
Maybe. Who the hell knows, man? I don't even know if Grayson's really even hurt. I'm going to throw that bombshell out. I don't know if Grayson Rodriguez is actually even hurt.
What do you mean? Like, what makes you say that?
I don't know. Like, you just randomly this lat issue just pops on back up.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're about to go on rehab. Like, come on. Was it always there? And were you beating around the bush? Or is just like he's just pissy and just doesn't want to pitch? I don't know. But there's been zero communication about him at all. He's been MIA, right? Is he in the dugout? I see him here and there.
I can't remember the last time I saw him. I've seen him this year.
Yeah, I've seen him this year. But like, was that like during like when he was actually like throwing before the games and stuff? But since he's had the lat injury, have we seen him?
Let's see.
I haven't paid attention enough.
The most recent thing is from 6 days ago. Grayson Rodriguez could resume throwing before end of May.
Okay.
Orioles general manager Michael I said that the right-hander Grayson Rodriguez will have re-imaging in a few weeks. So I'm just reading the headline. It's from Roto Baller. I don't know what Roto Baller is.
That's like that guy. I think Eric Cross. It helps with them and stuff.
So the source is Andy Koska of the Baltimore Banner. Michael I said the right-hander Grayson Rodriguez will have reimaging in a few weeks, and if results come back positive, he could potentially resume throwing before the end of May. Elias still expects Rodriguez to return before the end of the year. But
So
that's
second
it.
half, late second half.
Yeah, I think that his timeline is probably more like the Kyle Bradish timeline that you just proposed.
Yeah.
And maybe Bradish is. If you get Bradish back before Grayson,
Here's the problem. Here's a big problem. If they do elect the lat surgery, it's an 18-month recovery.
really,
Yes. And I think that's why they're either putting it off or he's just like, I'm not pitching yet until this is gone.
mm-hmm.
Like, is he actually hurt? Or if he's just really trying to like say, I need this to start feeling better, I'm not pitching.
Or maybe he needs to go and because I'm sure that it feels better. At this point, I'm sure it feels better, but maybe he needs to go in and have a doctor say you are not at any risk of re-injuring this. That's probably well, and that's the thing. So it's like when I would hurt my ankle, right? I've severely rolled both of my ankles multiple times, and I was my father's a doctor, and I would talk to him, and I'd be like, "Can I run on this?" And he would tell me, "You are not at any higher risk running on this now than you were if you hadn't done it." And when he told me that, that's when I knew I was good to go full bore. Maybe it's something like if you're not at any risk because of the most recent injury. The only risk you have is if you just re-injure it again, but it's not a higher risk because you've already had the injury.
Right.
Maybe that's what he's waiting to hear. That until they can say you're at no higher risk than anybody else, we're not like I'm not pitching. Which is then I can understand why you would say maybe I don't even know if he's actually hurt. He's just playing it safe, right?
Yeah, because he's under control till 2030. Like, do you really want to rush him back right now?
Right, especially with the way the season's going. The guys that you've got some guys in your rotation like Sugano. You can't convince me that Sugano's not an ace right now.
Yeah.
Like Sugano is pitching as good as Corbin Burns in his best stretch last year.
Mm-hmm. What he's less
doing,
Ks.
Yeah, less Ks, but the pitchability, his ability to locate. And now you have two guys at the top of your rotation in Eflin and Sugano who do not walk guys, and they get weak contact. Like
that's
I don't know,
that's
man.
key. I don't care if you strike guys out; just get weak contact.
Get weak
because
contact.
you're gonna go longer in a game. Hence why Sugano keeps going 7 innings most of the time. Like because he's not piling up the pitches, going 3-2 to everybody, and they're fouling off a couple balls. Like no, he's just putting it in there. He's putting it on the corner, saying, "Hey, go put this in play. You're probably going to roll over to shortstop." And then I got a 3-pitch inning here. Obviously 3-pitch innings, but I mean, his pitch counts are very good because of that. Like he's not trying to blow the ball by you. It's just here it is. It's going to move a foot and a half. Beat this into the second baseman for me, and thanks for the out.
Yeah, it's working, and I thought that Sugano would have the best ERA on the staff this season. I really did, because if you don't walk guys and you get weak contact like he always has throughout his entire professional career, even if you come over to the major leagues, you're still going to probably pitch to a 3.50 ERA. He's a run better than that. He's at like a 2.72, something like that. Like, and there's going to be a start where he gives up 4 runs in 5 innings. You're like, what the hell just happened? And he may have a stretch where he pitches to a 4.50 ERA for 2-3 weeks. But like you said, that's baseball. I'm a fan of Sugano, and I'm a fan of maybe they even extend him. I would love to see
2 years
extend him. I'd give him 2 years with an option for a third. I would do the same. I would do the same. Maybe 3 years with an option for. Maybe similar deals for both he and Eflin.
Mike's not going that far.
Hopefully,
let's be happy with a 2.
Yeah, right. But I mean, I would extend Eflin and Sugano. I would extend
Eflin. I think I would go 4 or 5.
Yeah,
but not like high dollar though.
Yeah, I mean he is only what 30, 31 years old.
I think maybe 30.
But Eflin
31. You're right. 1994.
Eflin has been injured more often than not in his
Once
career.
a year.
When I say that, he averages an IL stint every year.
Yeah,
And
so does Dean Kramer.
That's true. And Dean Kramer is being typical Dean Kramer, man. Terrible in April, and then
talked about
his
it.
We did. We talked about it last week on the show. Back-to-back starts of 7 innings and 2 earned runs or less. He's averaging 7 innings and 1 earned run in the month of May. Like
Yep.
that dude, he looks like a dog right now.
That
And it's
means
like,
the next one he's going to get blown up a little bit, but you know that happens.
how the hell is he able to just turn it on like that? And why can't he
4
do
or
that in
5
April?
starts. 4 or 5
Just
starts. Maybe that's what it takes.
crazy. All right, Preakness Festival 150 is underway with lots of both ticketed and free events throughout the state, headlined by the Magic of Maryland Music Celebration with Club Quarantine, 5 Live featuring DJ D Nice and special guests alongside the BSO with conductor Igmar Thomas. Those special guests include legends of hip-hop and R&B like Jadakiss, Too Short, Deborah Cox, Ari Lennox, Towson's own Corday, and more. The concert is Wednesday, May 14th at Pier 6 Pavilion. That's this coming Wednesday. Get your tickets and check out everything else happening during Preakness Festival 150 at preaknessfestival.com. All right. Take to rake. Zach, you took Jackson Holiday. I took Ryan O'Hearn. Holiday 5 for 22, a double, 3 RBI, 8 strikeouts. Ryan O'Hearn 4 for 14, all singles, 4 walks, 3 Ks. O'Hearn hit 286. Holiday hit below 250. I don't know, man. Neither one of them really raked, but
The Orioles
I think
sucked at that time.
yeah. You know what?
They hit over 200. I think we both won.
Yeah, right. But we had a tie last time. We're not gonna kiss our
You can
sister
take
a
it. I don't
second straight
care.
week. Oh man,
O'Hearn's played well.
all right. I just don't know how you win with all singles and no RBIs. All singles and but you know what, man? 4 hits in a week is more than just about the entire rest of the team. So,
Yep.
all right, I'll graciously take the victory. I'll put it that way. So I'm gonna take Gunner. I'll take Gunner this week. Who you got?
Gunner's getting hot.
Yeah.
Who do I got? Give me Tyler O'Neill.
He's got to start hitting at some point, right?
That's why I'm taking him. It's eventually got to happen.
Yeah, like unless
he was hitting prior to whatever he had going on. He was hitting very well. So let's just hope it comes back.
I would love to see. I mean, when Ramon Laureano is your biggest source of power on the team right now, like from the right side of the plate, come on, that can't be a thing. That can't be a thing.
Yep.
Although I will say that I'm glad he's on the team. I've actually come to really like Ramon Laureano. I mean, the guy plays hard. He plays great defense. Every now and again, he gets into one and hits the ball out of the ballpark. I think he's been a pretty as consistent as they come since he started really slow.
Yep.
I saw him when he put on the Jack Sparrow hat and then took the water from the dong bong, that they won't call it that. He looked displeased, like he just wasn't interested, like he was too cool for school with that. And when somebody said that when they were talking about how they had the meeting that Seti and O'Hearn called, and somebody said the fishing celebration was stupid anyway, the first thought that went through my mind when I heard that was Ramon Laureano, and then seeing his reaction to those celebrations the other night. Is there any doubt in your mind that Ramon Laureano is the one who was like the fishing celebration was stupid?
No. I don't think anybody really liked it.
Yeah. I think it was just the guys that were in that house together.
Yeah.
Down in Sarasota.
Yeah.
Man, so I think I have 2 wins.
Some guys just like baseball and they don't want all that theatrical crap. And then, I mean, he might just be one of those guys, an old school dude that just wants to go out and play hard and win baseball games. It doesn't want the hat and all that crap, and that's fine. There's some guys that are they're not into that. And there's other guys that, they want the chain put on, they want the jackets like Blue Jays put on. Like, everybody's different. So, I mean, if he's gelling, he's gelling, whatever. I'm sure they know it and they understand it and they respect it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that I'm not saying it like get this guy off my team, he's bad for the clubhouse.
No,
I just don't think that he likes crap like that.
No. And that's fine. That's fine.
All right. Today's show also brought to you by County Sports Zone. You know what? We'll do that last. Brought to you by Press Box, the latest edition of Press Box, which is available now. On the cover, Luke Jackson looks at the long road back from Tommy John surgery for Orioles closer Felix Bautista, Kyle Bradish, and Tyler Wells, who's also a name we haven't heard from in a long freaking time. Also inside, learn about new Maryland basketball coach Buzz Williams, from the players that have played for him, and much more. And you can find a new issue all throughout the region, including at 60 rural farm stores. And you can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Any comments that you want to read? I always forget about the comments during the show, and then
I
I
can't
go
even
back
read
and
them
look,
anyway. I don't have my glasses on.
and there's always like 80 of them. The Charlie Morton presser was hard to watch, dude. I missed it. I missed the Charlie
I missed
Morton
it too.
presser. But if it was anything like the one that he had where it looked like he was about to cry, then I'm glad I missed it, man. Like that broke my heart, and I don't want to watch
Apparently
a
it
big
was.
player. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, apparently it was.
Freddie Gonzalez was the guy in that clubhouse, was the leader in that clubhouse, not Brandon Hyde. I got to be honest, man. It is well documented how you and I both feel about Brandon Hyde. I'm kind of over it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'm kind of over just talking about how much Brandon Hyde sucks. Like we all know. And until they do something about it, I don't really want to talk about it anymore.
That's how I feel. And like,
You know?
I've been trying to slowly talk about it with some people on Twitter, like, get rid of this guy, trade this guy, send him down to AA. And I'm like, it's really hard to judge anybody right now because we all hate the coaching staff and we all realize that their hitting philosophy sucks. Like, do you want to really just really get rid of somebody just because they're not performing right now with these coaches and just give up everything and they just go over there and rake? Like, that would drive me nuts.
Like, and here's the thing. I've been talking about Gunnar Henderson and how he has not been clutch. And we've talked about it on the show. And the reason I'm talking, I love Gunnar Henderson. I do. He's one of my favorite players on the team. I think he's the best player on the team. But the fact remains, he's supposed to be that dude on this team. Somebody was like, why are you holding him accountable, not anybody else? Because he's the guy.
Right.
That's like asking a Yankee fan when the Yankees are scuffling and Aaron Judge isn't hitting. And Gunnar and Aaron Judge are not the same player, but they're the guys on their respective teams. It's like saying, why are you only holding Judge accountable? Because he's the dude that when he comes up with runners on second and third and nobody out, he can't strike out there.
Right.
He cannot, especially at a pitch a foot above his freaking head.
Yep.
He can't strike out there. Gunner's the guy, and Gunnar has looked like the guy the last 3 or 4 games. He's been putting the bat on the ball. He's been hustling. He's hitting the ball out of the ballpark. He got that RBI triple. He's starting to look like that guy again, you know. But I saw people when I posted stuff like that saying, I think we should trade Gunnar and give shortstop to Jackson. And it's like, no, I'm not going that far. I just want the guy to get hot and be Gunnar Henderson. You know, I'm not saying trade him, because you trade him and then watch him play shortstop for the Yankees for 10 years and tell me how much you really wanted to trade him then. You know?
Yeah, I don't want to just push that button and be like, yeah, I'm getting rid of these guys. No, it's really hard for me to blame 1,000% on them without seeing something. And I think I may even tweeted it to somebody else. It's the Lamar Jackson effect. Like, Lamar Jackson was a completely different player under Todd Monken than he was in Greg Roman. And everybody was like, oh, Lamar Jackson sucks. Sometimes you just have to wait it out just a little bit to see what else is out there that can unlock that little thing. And right now I'm at that point where the whole offense right now is in that Lamar Jackson effect.
Yeah. I have to believe that the offense will get it going. We've been seeing signs of it. You know, the guys we talk about getting hot, I have to believe there's too much talent here for them not to get it going.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, AJ, bring in Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer, what do you have to lose at this point? More baseball games. What's his fastball topping out at these days? 88, 89?
I think Trevor 91.
Right, which and
still
he's a righty, right? Or is he lefty?
You also risk losing more fans.
Yeah. Losing more fans, losing the clubhouse, and Trevor Bauer will never throw another pitch in a major league stadium. That's like, he will never. I'm not even talking about like a first pitch. He will never throw another pitch in a major league stadium. He is
I agree.
Never going to pitch in this league again. Never going to happen.
Yep.
Oh, I do like this though, AJ. But hey, they finally won on a Sunday. We just said last week, man, they never win on Sundays, and these shows are going to be terrible. Like having to talk about this after every. They won. They won this week. They won on a
Yeah.
Sunday. You know. Um.
Yep.
Let's see. I don't know. It's late, man. I'm
I'm
ready to
ready to
call
wrap
it a
it
night.
up.
Yeah, I can tell. I think you and I are in the same place. Last thing, Cody Rhodes wrestled with a torn pec because the doctor told him there was no way to injure it more than it already was. LOL. Yeah, I mean, if
It's
you're not
true.
going to hurt it anymore and you can go out there and you can physically do the job, might as well do it. You know. So,
Yep.
all right, Zach, what can we plug for you before we get out of here?
You know, if you guys are bored, I talk baseball a lot on Twitter, and I do the same thing on YouTube over at Pigtown Sports. Come on over and drop a follow.
Absolutely. Definitely worth the follow. He's always talking baseball. I love it. Today's show has been brought to you by County Sports Zone. Find every score from every high school sporting event all year long at countysports.zone. Proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. I actually went to County Sports Zone the other day to look up a realtor who I'm trying to pursue in my career. So yeah,
Nice.
I can say I went there. County Sports Zone, proud sponsor of the Bat Around. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Without you, we don't have a show. Thank you to all of our loyal listeners, fans, viewers. Without you, we absolutely 100% do not have a show. Zach, as always, thank you for joining us tonight. Go get some rest. Enjoy your new dog and your family. Until next week, see ya.